Comes to knowing what a teenager is up to, parents are usually the last to know. But the new movie 13, written by one of its teenage stars, gives you a very disturbing look into the sex, drugs, and rebellion of today's teens. Take a look.
What the hell is that? I'm talking to you. Speak up, I can't hear you.
It's a belly button ring! How else can I say it? I don't speak no other languages. Oh, and you wanna know what that is? That is a tongue ring.
Oh, God. And that is one powerful movie. Please welcome Evan Rachel Wood and Nikki Reed. Welcome. Nikki, you co-wrote this. I mean, this is your story in a sense. Evan, who plays Tracy in the film, it's loosely based on your life. And I have to tell you, it was so disturbing to watch this, especially being the parent of a teenage child, to know that that stuff is out there. And I'm not as aware of it as I probably should be. How much of it is true? I mean, in the movie, Tracy starts doing drugs and alcohol and having oral sex. Now, this is based on your life. When did all of that stuff start happening for you?
Well, first of all, the film is not autobiographical. Okay. It's loosely based on things I went through, but also things that a lot of my friends went through and things I observed. But I think the things that the girls were doing were not what was so shocking. I think it was their age. And I was definitely young when I went through a lot of those things, but I think it has to do with that I look a lot older.
But you were 13 when you wrote this and when this stuff happened.
Yes.
So you say a lot of the things you went through were because you looked older?
Yeah, when I looked the same age that I do now. Like I looked when I was 13, I looked how I look now, which I don't think I look 13 right now.
So you mean boys like came on to you more?
Yeah, older men, and I think
things?
a lot of that society contributes to, and I mean, I don't know what Evan thinks about that, but a lot of it was like commercially influenced.
But you must have gotten a lot of response to the way you look, so that maybe encouraged you to keep wearing the clothes the way you did, and your hair and the makeup, right?
It was attention.
So, yeah, I say what you mean.
Nikki, actually, a lot of people remember you from Once and Again, and you played a pretty troubled teenager in Once and Again. Evan, I'm sorry, I apologize. You played a pretty troubled teenager there. And now, as Meredith said, everything from drugs to sex to alcohol to everything. I mean, do you recognize this young girl? Do you know her? Do you know people who are like her?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, I can relate to a lot of the things that Tracy went through. I mean, I never got that extreme, but I mean, I've seen it happen to so many of my friends, and I mean, kids are around that every day. Even if they're not doing it, they're around it. They're drowning in it.
Well, I know that what people out there, they only want to know is, how do we stop our kid from being that person? That's what these parents are out there thinking. You guys are the experts.
I don't think that there's a way to stop it. I don't think it needs to be stopped, because I remember, I'm sure you remember too, if someone tried to tell you, don't do this, you weren't going to listen. They had to go through it. And that's the most frustrating thing for me right now is I'm in a high school and I'm looking at girls and they're trying to get me to be a part of this, and I try to explain to them and I try to talk to them, but I remember being in it and there was no one that could tell me not to do it. I had to go through it.
Do you think, Nikki, that it was, in the picture, was it more about the fact that your mother, her mother, Evan's mother, which is played by Holly Hunter, was kind of a single mother and there was no father around, or is that the main influence of it, or is it because of peer pressure? What do you think was the main problem there?
I think it's really half and half. I mean, especially for Tracy. I mean, yeah, she has the pressures to really fit in, but I mean, yeah, at the same time, her mother's a recovering alcoholic. She's dating this boyfriend who's always in and out of rehab. Her father's never around. There's a part of her that wants to hurt her parents and really just wants to shut this in their faces.
But I was raised by a single mom, which is why I don't know if you were, but I was raised by a single mother. And I think that because I have me and an older brother, we were always competing for attention. And then also for my father, who wasn't around as much as my mother was, because she devoted all of her time and all of her energy. She was trying so hard to take care of me and my brother, but it's really difficult. My mother even works at home because she's always around, she's always there, and that's part of pushing her away. I was so close to her when I was younger that now I'm pushing her away and I'm kicking her away even harder. And I think a lot of what happened in this film, a lot of what these girls go through has to do with having a single parent and peer pressure as well, but just needing the attention from your parents.
Yeah, but you said you had to go through it, that you wouldn't want to stop it, but I mean, you could have died. There were things that in that movie that you could have killed yourself. So as a parent, I don't want to hear you say that there's nothing a parent can do, that you have to go through it, because I don't want my kids to go through it. So there has to be something.
Well, there is. I mean, as you said, it's really hard because parents really want to be their kids' friends. But I mean,
You need to be a parent, not a friend.
You really, you just got to do the best you can, and you really just have to be open-minded. And I mean,
You think parents should be spying their kids more? And
No, that'll just
you
make it
can't.
worse. If you invade their privacy, it's just going to make them prove to you that.
There's that scene in the movie where you get furious when she went through your room and then through your purse, and that
Because
was
that's your own
She was guilty also. She had stuff to hide.
Things have changed so much then, because even to hear you say, you're invading my privacy. When we were growing up, we had no privacy. We lived in someone else's home. Well, even thought that I would say to my parents, how dare you invade my privacy? My mother wouldn't go for that.
Who's going to clean your room if she can't go in there?
What's changed?
Well, it's
I mean,
a respect issue as well, I think that.
You haven't earned respect yet, babe. That's what the rule is. Your mom and dad say that. When you can take care of yourself, feed yourself, clothe yourself, put yourself in your own house, folk are going to respect you. One earns it. You don't just get it because you're a kid. I'm telling you what a parent would say.
I don't agree.
But that's what my mother said to me constantly.
Yeah, but in
I
this
think our
movie,
kids earn respect all the time.
Yeah, but in this movie, you see that the mother is really in trouble herself. She doesn't really earn their respect either. So she's got a guy coming in and out. She's in rehab. I mean, she doesn't pay attention.
So is
She's
that
on
what
her own
it is?
trip.
I'm trying to get to where it is.
Yeah, you can't tell your children to do things, and you can't tell them, you know, to stay off of drugs and make the right decisions if you're just going crazy. You can't just tell them this and not do it.
It's communicating in the right way, I think. I think that's what this movie's gonna help do, is help parents and kids communicate, but in a...
Well, it's actually, in that sense, a great tool. It's an R-rated movie, which means your child cannot go without a parent there. But that's a good thing, because it will open a dialogue, hopefully, and maybe before kids are exposed to any of it. You know, these are 7th graders. This is about 7th grade kids. So
You think it's too rough on kids to see it?
I think it depends on the kid. I think it would be a great thing to see.
for kids.
But you want to see it with your kids.
Clearly,
Oh,
it's not.
absolutely. But that's why R is probably a good rating for it. So, I mean, it deserves that rating.
What'd
Our
your
thanks
mom
to-
think, though, babe, before we go? What'd your mom think?
My mom, her heart was broken when she first saw it. Everyone was really emotional. My dad, too. They had a really hard time. My mom can sit through all the screenings, though my dad still can't. He saw it once, and that was it.
But that should be proud of you, because you are coming into your own beautifully now. You wrote this thing yourself. You're brilliant. Both of them are great.
And maybe will help a lot of other kids
Now you're
and
the new
parents.
girl.
Yeah.
And that's how you got respect.
Our thanks to Evan, Rachel Wood, and Nikki Reed. Their new film, 13, opens in select cities this Wednesday and nationwide in September. We'll be right back.